We have never seen in our lifetime players do what he is doing. I mean, this hasn't happened really since what? Babe Ruth, basically. But having said that, now you are in a case where you have an incredible player on an awful baseball team. And I can't stand the idea of handing an MVP to a great player just because he's a great player.
Well, I think you stumbled right there when you said that there's no question what MVP stands for, because I think there's a huge question what MVP stands for. Does it stand for most valuable to your team, as you just suggested, in which case we're talking about the success of the team, and then obviously there's no conversation to be had. The Yankees are much better than the Angels. This obviously is Judge's award, hands down. Or is it the player that's most valuable to the sport? In which case I would argue that's Ohtani, because what Aaron Judge is doing this season is incredible. You know, he's going after Maris' record. Obviously, we're seeing how good the Yankees are, and we know that they wouldn't look anything like that if Aaron Judge wasn't doing what he's doing this season. That's all well and good. The problem with Judge to me is I've seen it done before. I've seen it done in my lifetime before, in fact. I have never seen what Shohei Ohtani is doing. So if we're talking about who's more valuable to the sport, it's the guy who's doing things that we haven't seen done in more than 100 years. You mentioned the Babe Ruth comparison. That's always the comparison. I always chuckle when we're comparing him to people that played back then, or even Bullet Joe Rogan when he did it. I mean, we are talking about players that we cannot find a comparison within my lifetime and within our parents' lifetimes, right? And that is remarkable. So from that perspective, if you throw out WAR and you throw out the Yankees record, what it comes down to is that Shohei Ohtani is doing things that we will probably never see again in our entire lifetimes. My kids might not see it in their lifetimes, right? Maybe my grandkids will get lucky enough to see another Ohtani. And so from that perspective, it's inarguable to me that he is more valuable to the sport overall.
Well, but look, if we're going to talk about marketing, yeah, it's amazing. There's no question that Ohtani is valuable there, but I don't want to think about it in those terms. I don't want to think about it like that Ohtani is most valuable to baseball, period, right now, because there are so many different ways you can qualify that. For Judge, it's simple. If you took Aaron Judge off the Yankees would not be in first place where they are right now, because they have seen it fall apart on them, and he has been clearly, I think, the best hitter in the game this year, and I think he has been the best player on one of the best teams, and it hasn't been close. So if we want to start handing out the award for most outstanding player, I'm good with that. I'm fine if you want to give that to a Shohei Ohtani this year. But if I want to hand out the guy that is most valuable, there's only one way I'm ever quantifying that if I'm somebody that's a voter. And that is, hey, what would this team be without this star? Where would they be without him? The Yankees would be nowhere without Aaron Judge.
Well, the Angels wouldn't be either.
Well, the Angels are terrible. They're already nowhere.
They're already nowhere.
They could be further nowhere without Ohtani.
It's not Ohtani's fault where he plays. That's the counter argument.
It kind of is.
To what you're saying.
There.
Okay, fine. But you know, you and I mean, let's be real. Like, obviously he signed there. He's getting paid by then, but it's not his fault that they're a bad team. He has done his part to ensure that they are in fact a good team, right? What he's doing, again, is things that we have never seen anybody else do. I mean, it's earth-shattering. It's groundbreaking. I've seen Aaron Judge. I don't want to take anything away from him. That's the part of this conversation that I hate, because I think it's remarkable what Judge is doing. And by the way, he's doing it in the era of pitchers, when we're seeing pitchers throw the ball and wave.
Ball with the voice of the Trash Pandas. Former Stars manager Mike Guerrero was back in town last night with the former Stars, the Biloxi Shuckers. Big Sonny the Sheriff from Auburn, delivering in the bottom of the ninth with a single to plate the winning run for the Trash Pandas. 7th walk-off win of the season. Sonny got on base 5 times last night. He looked whipped at the end of that game. A hot, humid night. And speaking of SEC stars who are Trash Pandas, former UT flamethrower Ben Joyce pitched the seventh inning, hit 103 on his fastball twice while retiring the shucks in order. And by the way, my daughter, Kelly, of all my daughters, she's one of them. Of my 5 daughters, my daughter, Kelly, will be performing at the Inline Electric Rock Porch beginning at 5 before Saturday night's game. And my son, hey! It's the marina. Don't be calling me. The part must be in for my Hummingbird trolling motor. And my son, John, who of all of my sons, he's one of them. I got 5 sons if you count Grizz. But four sons, and Grizz, my son from another mother. Anyway, he'll be there as well, doing whatever he does. John does whatever the Trash Pandas tell him to do. At the top of the 11, David Moulton from Monday Night Football and the SEC on CBS. Booth will be back. We have got plenty to get into heading into the Labor Day weekend of college football. And on a broadcasting note, College Game Day is in Columbus, Ohio this week before the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, which is on ESPN Saturday night. Notre Dame getting 17 and a half in that game. By the way, that line update brought to you by BetUS.com. Back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus up to 200%. BetUS offers members the chance to cash in on all your favorite sports. Sign up at BetUS.com. That's BetUS.com. And use the promo code WZZN. Notre Dame getting 17 and a half. Too much. I'll take the Domers with the 17 and a half. Anyway, Game Day will be there. And many will be tuning in just to see how Lee Corso does. Last week they did a truncated Game Day. Corso broadcasted from his backyard, complete with like cheerleaders and props. They had a big blow-up jump thing and everything. But it was, to be honest with you, it was disturbing. Okay? I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. It was very disturbing. If you haven't seen it, just go look it up on the interwebs, and you'll find it. It was he was slurring, and he really struggled. It's hard to Lou Holtz thought that he was hard to understand. Now, Lee had a stroke back in 2009 and came back from it remarkably, but he has struggled since. You've seen the effects of the stroke. Now he's 87 years old. Come on. Look, I really love the guy. I really love, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Lou Holtz. Or for Lee Corso. I mentioned Lou Holtz. Now I can't get Lou Holtz off of my mind. I have a soft spot in my heart for Lee Corso. I actually interviewed with Lee Corso for a job with the Orlando Renegades of the original USFL after the 1985 season. I was 24 years old at the time. And I interviewed with him in Orlando. That was the year, remember, they were going to move the USFL after the 85 season was going to move to the fall of 86. We had a great discussion. I thought I had an excellent opportunity, and then the league disbanded. So you wonder why I get into spring leagues and things like that. The USFL, the return of the USFL, and all of that stuff. I've been some way, shape, or form connected to that stuff going back to the original USFL. So we'll see what it looks like. Corso will be in Columbus with the crew this week, not broadcasting from his backyard. I really hope he does better. And if not, something has to be done. Because really, to be honest with you, it's almost disrespectful to keep running him out there. To be honest with you, it's almost disrespectful. Yesterday was cutdown day in the NFL. 7 former Tide players and 9 former Auburn guys got the axe. Now, some will hook up with other teams. But maybe the biggest name on the list is Alex Leatherwood, who was the Raiders' first-round pick last year. He started every game for them, but just has struggled. His technique was just bad. They don't seem to be like they could fix it. He had low hands. It would make him stumble. He kind of bent over. I don't want to get the offensive line technique for you, but Leatherwood had a tendency to put his hands low and bend over at the waist instead of bowing his neck, getting the hands up, and dropping his butt like he was taking a dump in the woods. I was just telling my 9-year-old grandson this. I was helping him with his stance. And they don't even use a 3-point stance. They use a 2-point stance and at their flag football. So I was helping him with his stance, and he had his hands on his knees, but he had his fingers wrong. I said, look, the thumbs to the inside, 4 fingers to the outside. You get your heels out, your toes in a little bit, be a little bit pigeon-toed. And bow your neck. He had a bow in his neck. I said, stick your chest out. Stick your chest out there. Get your head up. Get the small of your back tucked in. And make like you're kind of taking a dump in the woods. He understood what I was saying. I said, have you ever had to take a dump in the woods? He says, no, I'm 9. I said, well, make like you're making a dump in the woods. Well, that's what Leatherwood needed to do. So what happens is that if you're squatting in that squat position, you get your hands up. Get your hands into the breastplate of the player, of the defender. You're in a better position. You're in a better base. Well, what happens is just think about it. Lower your hands to your thigh boards, to your thighs. Lower your hands to your thighs and roll your head down a little bit, bend over a little bit. And what happens is you fall over. Now when you try to move, if you don't make good contact with the guy, you fall over. You fall on your face. He's Alex freaking Leatherwood. I mean, I'm sure he's gotten much better coaching than that. But they could not get this kid to do it, and he was getting beat. They also caught Kenyon Drake. Of course, they had to cut ties with Henry Ruggs last year because of the accident. And, that was a 2019 first-round draft pick. The Raiders, they don't have, like, any of their first-round draft picks for the last 3 years. They had 3 first-round draft picks, I think, in 2019. They don't have any of them on the team. Anyway, I'll run down the list for you. But, man, it sure, speaking of spring leagues, it sure seems like there's a league waiting to happen here. I mean, it seems like there is when you look at these names, and these are guys that are like, they don't want to go make $5,000 a game. $5,000 a week to be in the XFL or to be in the USFL. That's what they make, $5,000 a week. If you're on a practice squad in the NFL, you make $11,500 a week to hold the dummy or to beat a dummy. But you're in your underwear, your T-shirt most of the time. They only get to hit. They only get to pad up 14 times in 18 weeks. Not 14 weeks, 14 times. They pad up in the NFL practice. So if you're on a practice squad, you're making $11,500 a week, $205,000 for 6 months to go out there and run a scout team. Make a league out of these guys. Man, we'd watch it. I'm telling you. All right, over there in the little glass room, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones, keeping us on the air, wondering why in the hell is Braves can't make a move right now on the Mets who are losing games. It's DJ Grizzly.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
is, look, the Mets have lost 3 in a row, and the Braves have lost 2 in a row. They could be within a game.
I don't understand it. I mean, the Mets had to come from behind and beat the Rockies. You're getting the Rockies at home in a 3-game set, and you should be able to sweep them. I just doesn't understand it. You had Jose Urena out there, the guy that they hate from the Miami Marlins for so many years, a guy that's been there. I think the only reason it wasn't a crazy game is because Acuna wasn't playing. So I just don't get it. I don't understand. It's like every time they get within a game and a half, 2 games, they slip up, and it just seems like it's going to be like this all year. And hopefully they can right the ship once they get into playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, being 8.5, 9 games up on the wild card. I mean, it's
no. The playoffs isn't the issue. I still think. I mean, it's only 3, and they got 3 with the Mets left.
Yeah,
but it could be. The Mets. I reversed that. The Mets have lost 2 in a row, but the Braves have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
It's like the last 2 nights the Mets lost, and the Braves could be 1 game back right now.
And I think that's the second time. That's like the second or third time I think the Braves have lost 3 in a row this season. I mean, they haven't been able to. They haven't done that, and so hopefully they'll just bounce back, and this will be the only other time that they'll be able to do that. So it just doesn't make sense against a team like the Rockies, who their fielding is poor. They're awful. I just don't understand. They're probably one of the worst teams in baseball right now. I just don't understand how you can get the Rockies at home and you just fall to the opener like that, especially with Max Fried on the bump.
So Brandon is asking, since games start tomorrow, don't you make picks today or something? Since games, this is what he wrote. Since games start tomorrow, don't picks today? What are you, Lee Corso? Since games start, that's not right. That's not right. Since games start tomorrow, don't picks today? No, we're not doing picks. Okay, let me use this opportunity. Has Brandon not been listening to this show for more than a year? At least he's been listening to it for more than a year, right?
He's listened to the station longer than a year.
Well, I know that. And if he's been listening to this, I know he used to call last fall. Okay, this is what we do on the Thom Abraham Show for your picks, okay? Every Thursday, every Thursday, which is tomorrow.
Not Tuesday.
Not Wednesday. We don't do top 10 Tuesday with 10 games. We don't do Wednesday on a hump day. Every Thursday, we do the BetUS.com Beat the Big Dog. Okay, now what happens in Beat the Big Dog is I give you 6 games. And that's you, one listener, who gets through 6 games against the spread against me. And you get the advice of Grizz. So I'll have 6 college games on there. The Georgia-Oregon will be in there, the Notre Dame game. I usually don't put cupcake games in there. So I'm not going to be don't look for, Alabama, Utah State, Auburn, and Mercer. I'll find 6 games that are not cupcake games. We got 6 games that are good enough to pick. All right? That'll be in there. And so with the spread, but it's whatever caller gets through. We'll say like caller number 3. And then you get through, and that's Beat the Big Dog, 6 games. Then on Friday, we do the BetUS.com Friday Trifecta, which will be 4 games, and everybody gets to play that. And those games those selections go towards the season-long Grand Trifecta Championship, which last week, Bowling JJ, he won the food at Champies. Every week there's a food prize, and you build up points towards the Grand Trifecta Championship to find out who's the best BetUS.com handicapper in the doghouse. So last week, Bowling JJ got the 3 picks right in the trifecta, and he picked up the bonus. So he got 2 points. Auburn Mike got 3 right, but he didn't get the bonus right, so he got 1 point. So right now on the board is Bowling JJ with 2 points and Auburn Mike with 1 point. But it's a long season, goes all the way through the end. There's the first Grand Trifecta ends at the end of college season. Then we do another trifecta that goes December to the Super Bowl. Okay? So that's the way this works. So no, Brandon, we're not picking games today. Let me talk to him. Hey, you knucklehead. Have you not been listening to this show for like 2 years now?
Yes, but the
Okay.
way that you usually do it on Friday is built around doing the picks. And on Thursday, correct me if I'm wrong, you usually have a lot of late interviews and are very interview laden on that day.
No, not Thursday. Not because what we do on Thursdays, we'll have Matt Patterson, the head coach of Buckhorn High School, for his interview with the Homelanders, the Hazel Green coaches interview, and we have a handicapper, which is Steve Merrill, to help you guys with the picks. So we'll have Steve Merrill first, then we'll do Beat the Big Dog at the top of the hour on Thursdays, and then we have Coach Patterson on. That's it. That's Thursday, and then Friday. And then Friday is when we do the Friday trifecta, and that's everybody. But Beat the Big Dog, only one. Whoever gets through to play Beat the Big Dog on Thursday.
Got you. Okay, so I thought because we're doing it on Thursday, sometimes you have Steve Merrill on and you have him on late. So I didn't know how you were rearranging it.
Yeah, well, he could be, sometimes he could be after Beat the Big Dog, but, then you didn't get to have the benefit of his deal. We'll do Beat the Big Dog. We try to do it at different times because, the way listenership is, not everybody listens to all 2 hours of the show, and some people are only listening in the first 15 minutes, second 15 minutes, third 15 minutes, so on. So what I try to do is I try to move Beat the Big Dog around, sometimes in the first hour, sometimes in the second hour. But that's just 6 games, typically 3 NFL and 3 college once the NFL season starts. But but the Friday trifecta, everybody gets to pick, and that's just boom. And we'll have Lee Sterling on Friday, starting September 2nd, handicapper extraordinaire as well.
Gotcha. Well, in my pool that I do with my boys around here, we pick games, and we decided to do kind of what I told you about, where you got to pick some games, but you got to pick some crap games as well.
Yeah.
And I ended up with having North Carolina at App State and then La Tech at Missouri. Those were the 2 junkers that I took. And I got Drew to ask Jay Crane about those this morning, and he says that he thinks North Carolina at App State is a complete pick'em, and he says he thinks that Missouri will cover, but that La Tech will put at least 21 on them. I kind of wonder if Missouri covers. I think La Tech could be sneaky to win that game if Missouri is as bad on defense as they were last year. So I was trying to shore those up because I didn't know if you were taking those today or not.
Yeah, no. Those kind of games.
The underdog.
Yeah, those kind of games typically don't end up in, in Beat the Big Dog. I can tell you right now, in Beat the Big Dog tomorrow, we will have, of course, the Notre Dame Tennessee or the Notre Dame Ohio State game. We will have the Georgia game against Oregon. We will have the Clemson game against Georgia Tech. We will have the Purdue-Penn State game on. That's a 4-point spread, 3.5, 4-point spread. So we'll have that game in there. So I've got games that are all Power 5 games that are, a reasonable point spread, something that's not too crazy on the point spread. Those are the kind of games that we like to have in there.
Okay, well, we're trying to do something to spice up these, what I call filler games that you just got to watch. And laying the money on them when the wife's like, well, can we do this because you're not watching that? No, I've got money on this.
Yeah. No, and that's great for stuff like that. But when you're building an audience and you're trying to talk to thousands of people, they want to know about they don't care about the Virginia Cavaliers playing the Richmond Spiders. They don't want to hear about that.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Degenerate gamblers are a different breed.
Yeah, that's a different type of deal. Because I'll have games that I pick and watch, especially after I talk to my handicappers. We'll have sleeper games. It might be, for all we know, it's, it'll be, Texas San Antonio and the Houston Cougars or something. You don't know what the heck, whatever the games look good to those guys. I'm trying to decide whether I should put Ole Miss and Troy and Beat the Big Dog. That's a 21-point spread, but that's not that's a quasi cupcake game, not a super cupcake game, but a quasi cupcake game.
I really think that North Carolina App State would be a good one to put in there because that one being a 1-point game, that could be a wild finish in that one. It wasn't even they moved it to 1, I think.
Wait a minute. North Carolina and App State is a one. No, it's not a 1-point game.
Yeah, it was even the other day, and then Jay Crane said this morning.
North Carolina and App State.
Yeah, North Carolina at App State.
I don't care if they're playing on the moon. North Carolina at App State. I got to find the game. I'm looking at. God, there's a lot of games. There's no way that North Carolina at App State is a 1-point game.
When I saw it the other day, it said even on the ESPN app, and then he said 1 this morning, so I guess it moved.
Maybe.
But I locked it in at even.
How can North Carolina and App State be even? I don't. North Carolina is supposed to be pretty decent this year, I thought.
When I saw that, I jumped all over it. Because you're going to App State. I just said, I got to take that. I got to take the money. I laid the 50 on that one.
So you took App State?
So I took App State at home, even.
ESPN has North Carolina as a 1.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they moved it 1.5 points from even.
I don't know. Something must be up there. I'm looking at it right now at Vegas Insider. It was a 3.5. North Carolina was a 3.5-point favorite at the Open, and now it is almost pretty much even, 1 to even. I mean, that's
what I couldn't figure out.
Blowing my mind. That is blowing my mind. All right. Job by you, Brandon.
And hey, on your I'll ask you before you go. You're on your fantasy league.
Yeah.
So, I guess Grizz is the commissioner of the league, and is Honcho a commissioner of the league?
Yeah, Honcho is the commissioner of the league that I'm in, and Grizz is a commissioner of our other league. We got 2 leagues: the Undertaker League and the Bamazak League.
Okay. Between our producers here, and I'm going to be on Team Grizz on this one, even though I like Honcho, whosever league does better, do you have one of the fantasy penalties where you have to do something fun if you lose? Like have to wear a Bucky's costume?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you would do that because both leagues will have a champion. So it's not like one league does better than the other league. They're independent leagues. But Grizz and Honcho, I mean, we could do something with how they finish. That would be interesting. How Grizz does in his league and how Honcho does in his league. Honcho's at a big disadvantage, though, because he's the commissioner of my league, which is a problem for them because I'm kind of a professional at this sports thing, you know what I mean? And I feel bad for these guys. I mean, it's really they're just going through the motions, going up against me.
It'd be nice to have a little trash talk, Grizz versus Honcho all season.
Yeah.
I'll back up my fantasy football play any day.
Yeah. Grizz and Honcho are both into fantasy sports.
It's all roll of the dice anyway.
Well, no, it's more. There's skill involved in this. Skill.
I've seen auto draft. I've seen auto draft win the whole year.
Yeah, but even auto draft, you still got to set your team and make your moves. And all right, Brandon, good job by you.
Roll Tide, brother.
Should there be a bet, a Honcho Grizz bet? I mean, I don't know what it would be. You'd have to cut the grass for him or something one day, or
that's not a. That's not like a punishment to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you'd be like, enjoy the day off. Honcho, I'll go weed whack. You come and do this stupid Thom Abraham show. By the way, while you're at it, do the billing. Let's get a break in here. When we come back, Josh Carey is up next. Carey's Corner right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan Spartman. Hope to see you soon.
Hey, Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Carrier Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, a couple of passing clouds, but that's about it. We're definitely not going to be talking about any rain this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. It's also not going to be disgustingly humid, again, making for a beautiful Wednesday in North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best local sports talk with the best in college football. A perfect combination. Hi, this is Chris Stewart. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Time to talk a little country hardball, brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Get pre-approved today. Just go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com and learn how you can get pre-approved. Not pre-qualified, but pre-approved, because when you're pre-approved and you make your offer on a house that you're looking to buy, you are ready to close immediately. You're at that point where as soon as the seller is ready, you're ready, and that helps you get your offer accepted. Also, look at the rates now for refinancing as things have stabilized a bit out there, and there's still a lot of value in your house. You know, North Alabama is considered one of the most undervalued markets in the country, all right? And it is, so there's a lot of money in your house, a lot of value in your house, and you could do a refi and pull some of that money out to do some other things with it at a very good rate. All right, joining us now for Carey's Corner, the voice of the Trash Band, is Josh Carey. and he joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Josh, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. Ready for another week here at home for the Trash Pandas, and I know you guys are ready for some football, so all's well.
You know, you moved here a year ago or so, a little more, almost 2 years ago now, but you can attest to that, right? I mean, this area was voted the best area by U.S. News and Report, the best area in the country to live in, and as a broadcaster, you've lived in different areas and different markets around the country, but, I mean, you got to admit, from weather to housing prices, to unemployment, to available entertainment like the Trash Pandas and everything else. I mean, you got to live here to know how great an area this is.
Yeah, and I think it's, unfortunately, there are a lot of people around the country who, you know, they hear Alabama, people who aren't from the South, they hear Alabama and they kind of have a predisposed idea of what that means. North Alabama is a different animal, and you come up here, and I saw when I first arrived, and I've just been amazed by the growth since I got here in 2019. So, yeah, if you own a home, you're in a pretty sweet spot right now. If you ever want to leave or move to another place or whatever the case may be, but I've just been amazed at how quickly North Alabama has grown and will continue to grow, and the Trash Pandas have been a big part of that.
When I got here 18 years ago, it was just like a town. You know, it just was like a small area.
Yeah.
But I remember that my boss that I worked for at the time, he made a great comment. He said that he thought that North Alabama and North Georgia should be split north and south to South Alabama and South Georgia, like North Carolina and South Carolina are, because North Alabama and North Georgia are totally different than South Alabama and South Georgia. And, you know, he's right about it. I mean, it's a different kind of, you know, it's just a totally different kind of vibe. And I'm not saying that to diss the southern parts of the states, but the industry, the cities, Huntsville, Atlanta, all of that kind of stuff, it's just totally different, the northern half of these two states.
Yeah, and, you know, I was even driving around this morning. I had some errands to run, and, I mean, you still see a lot of the farmland, especially as you push out toward Madison, toward Decatur. But when you see just the expansion, and then you go into Huntsville and you go to Research Park and all those areas and just see exactly what's happening here and all the opportunity that exists here, I mean, it's easily one of the best places to live in the country right now. And the great part is I've lived in some major cities, Atlanta, New York, and D.C., and it's just so nice to be able to zip around the city 15 to 20 minutes whichever way, even during rush hour. So the quality of life is fantastic, and I've loved it ever since I've moved here.
So when I got here in 2004, the radio station I was working at is out in Athens, and and I would be in Huntsville. I lived in Huntsville. I was working at the radio station in Athens. You would get to about, Providence, Maine wasn't built yet. So you would get past those car dealerships. You'd get up and over that hill before you got to Jeff Road. You would get, to the car dealership area, and it would become barren. I mean, barren for the next, 15 miles. All the way to Athens, you would see nothing. There was nothing. Jeff Road was cotton fields. There was nothing. And all the way to Athens, there was nothing. Now it's like continuing to creep together. You have like about a little 2-mile, 3-mile stretch where it's all thinned out. But, I mean, all of that growth through that, Madison area and everything else, none of that was there. All of those plazas and everything else, that was all where the hospital is in Madison, Huntsville Hospital in Madison. None of that was there. It was just all cotton fields. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I would say that if you get to about County Line Road right now, once you get there, then, it starts to thin out a little bit, but I'm telling you, man, give it about another decade. Oh, boy. Athens, Decatur, Huntsville, Madison, that's all just going to be one thing.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting. It's going to be real interesting the next decade plus.
Yeah, there was basically nothing all the way till you got to 65. That's why where they built that stadium made so much sense. Where Toyota Field is, it just makes a ton of sense. And it made a lot of sense last night for Sonny DeShura coming up with the big knock in the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth inning. They walk a guy in front of him to get, and I don't think it was to get to him. It's probably to set up the double play with a guy on second. But Sonny comes up. I think he was on base like 5 times last night. He comes up with a big knock in the bottom of the ninth to get the win. That's exciting.
Yeah, he was actually one of two guys to reach base 5 times. Levon Soto, who's just had a sensational season, did it as well. But, yeah, the great part about the lineup right now is you got Logan O'Hoppe, who's the number one prospect in the Angels system. He's batting third, and then you got DeShero right behind him batting cleanup. And so it's pick your poison when it comes to the opposing pitching. Now, Sonny, to be very candid, up until last night, had been struggling. So it was the right move by Biloxi's part, and they were hoping to get a ground ball. And if that happens, it's an easy double play and the inning's over. But fortunately, the big fella came up with the big hit, and Rocket City walked it off.
7th inning, Ben Joyce, another SEC guy, rookie, getting in there, and he's hitting 103 miles an hour in the 7th. Gets takes the shucks down in order 1, 2, 3, and good to see him settling in like that.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a little movement on the fastball. So think about this: it's not just 103; it's 103 with movement.
With a curl.
Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, I mean, if you're a hitter, forget about it. And there were some ugly hacks in that inning too, as well, by Biloxi. I mean, there aren't too many people who can do what he does. First couple of outings, you could see the rust on him. He had been laying off since the end of the volunteer season, and so now that he's back in the groove and he's pitched, about twice a week now, you can see what it is that the Angels saw in him. And I have to think that he's going to be competing for a major league spot next spring. I mean, he's just that good already, and he provides a depth to their bullpen that not too many major league teams have. So it wouldn't be surprised me if he's in a Halos uniform come opening day 2023.
Josh Carey with us talking some baseball. Were the Trash Pandas, did they do a Huntsville Stars Day this year? Were they doing that this year? Or was that an every year thing? I know they did it in year one, but did they do one where they rolled out the Stars gear?
Yeah, I think we're going to do it the last homestand against Birmingham. I think it's either the 16th or 17th. It's one of those days, I think.
How do you do you not do that against Biloxi? You know what I mean? How do they not do that against Biloxi and troll them a little bit? How many they go Huntsville Stars against the team that was the Huntsville Stars? Come on.
Well, let me give you kind of the 2 cents on that. So last year we did do it when Biloxi came to town, which made sense. It was the first year of the Trash Pandas.
Yeah.
This year, unfortunately, they came to town Labor Day weekend. And so you don't know where people are going to be. There's a lot of distractions, of course, college football getting underway.
Yeah.
So I think if you wait a couple more weeks, get more people back into town, I think it'll have a little more fervor behind that, a little more push behind it. So that's the reason why it was done this year. I see what you're saying, but then again, I don't want us to do that every single year against Biloxi. I'd like to see us do it against different teams.
Tomorrow night's a cool promotion. Reed Detmer's commemorative glass tomorrow night. That's the first 2,000 people through the gates. Gates will open up 5 o'clock, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and now that glass might mean a little bit more after he pitched the no-hitter. So
yeah,
I'll tell you what, if you've seen his numbers of late, he has been sensational. He really, he pitched the no-hitter and then he struggled. They sent him down to AAA Salt Lake. He corrected some things. And now he's finishing the year strong. And you look at the Angels now; they've won 4 of their last 5. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to be a contender next year, but they're trying to build some things forward to next season. But yeah, we're going to have the Reed Detmer's glass giveaway. We're going to have music on the Inline Electric Rock Porch. We're going to have fireworks this weekend. There's going to be a canned food drive on Saturday as well. Fans who bring their canned foods to the ballpark get a raffle ticket, no more than 10 raffle tickets for memorabilia, stuff like that. Kids running the bases on Sunday. So we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend with the holiday, and folks should have a good time.
Yeah, speaking of Saturday night in the Inline Electric Rock Porch, my daughter will be performing Saturday night at the Rock Porch, so that's kind of cool as well. Yeah. There's going to be fireworks later on after that game. Unfortunately, we will not be there. I got a daughter getting married later on in the month, and my wife has got to go to a dress fitting for her and for my daughter, and they're going to be in Nashville all afternoon on Saturday at the dress. So I'm going to be forced to stay home and watch the Alabama-Utah State game and a Notre Dame-Ohio State game. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck in my chair watching college football Saturday night while my wife is getting her dress fitting done in Nashville.
Man, you know what? You guys probably have that down to routine, as many kids as you have when it comes to the wedding and stuff like that. You know, it's funny. I'm going to be interested to see what the crowds are like this weekend, just because I know it's the first weekend of college football. I get it. I got it. But Mercer, Utah State, I'll be interested to see what fans choose to forego, especially the Alabama game, since that's going to start about the same time as ours. So I'll be interested to see if folks are willing to forego that for a weekend just to watch our guys play. But, yeah, you know, it's a fun time of year. I think the baseball-football crossover is one of the best times of the sports season, and we should have a lot of fun this Saturday.
Well, and you catch a little break because next week on Saturday, Alabama-Texas, huge game, but that'll be at 11 o'clock in the morning. So, so there's no, you won't have any real competition there at that point next week. And then the following week is another cupcake game, and then you guys are done, So when are the playoffs? What are the dates for the playoffs? When do the playoffs start?
Okay, playoffs will start Tuesday, September 20th. We'll be on the road, probably in Kodak to play the Smokies. And then they'll come here on Thursday the 22nd, and if necessary, Friday the 23rd. And then if Rocket City gets through that, the championship would begin that Sunday, which is the 25th, on the road. And then off day on Monday the 26th, 27th, 28th, best of three series, and then we're done. Let me just throw this idea out here at you, though, too, Tom. Next week, Rocket City will actually be on the road. They're going to be playing Montgomery, playing the Biscuits down in Montgomery. First time we've ever gone there. But while that game's going on, we're going to have the Armed Forces game over at Toyota Field on September the 10th. So fans can go to trashpandasbaseball.com. It's a wonderful effort that we do to reach out to our local heroes and let them participate in a softball game. Folks can come out, check that game out. It'll be a great thing to do on a Saturday evening, and we'd love to have fans on down there for that.
All right, that sounds like a good time as well. All right, and you can get your patriotic T-shirt on Sunday and then wear it Sunday of this week, and then wear it, at the Armed Forces game the following week. That'll be cool.
Yeah. First 2,000 fans will get a T-shirt this Sunday too. So yeah, that'll be our final military T-shirt giveaway.
Very cool. Josh Carey has been our guest. Josh, I appreciate you so much. Have a great call tonight.
All right, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll grab a break, and we will come back and wrap up hour number one and set you up for hour number two next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for a 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-99-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Vehicle, do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental, 2 locations on to make sure that you have everything that you need. You can get it done with Valley Equipment Rental. I toured the facility last week with Ross Robertson, was stunned at the new location out north of Winchester Road on the North Parkway. It is absolutely incredible to see what they've built out there, and when you get out there, you'll see the equipment that they have, more skid steers, excavators, lifts, everything. They just have more of everything than anybody else in the Tennessee Valley, helping the Tennessee Valley build and helping you get your job done like a pro. It is Valley Equipment Rental. Maybe they could send some stuff to Jackson, Mississippi, and help them with the water issue down there. I just was watching the video of Deion Sanders, Grizz, talking about the water problems in Jackson, where they've had flooding at the water treatment plants. They have no water at the university. Here the guys in camp, no water means no air conditioning, no ice. They can't make ice. Can't make all the food that they need to make for a football team. So he's trying to relocate the team now to someplace else. So he's dealing with that. Jackson's a small, 150,000 people there. Yeah. In Jackson, Mississippi, but it's it's got to be frustrating for him. He's trying to build something there. He I don't know how long he can keep doing this. How long he can keep doing it there. If they don't, there's going to be a number of D1 jobs that open up next year, and if he's a 9 or 10 win season again this year, I think actually Deion Sanders could end up a Power 5 head coach. You wouldn't think. Never thought when he got into it. I thought it was just a folly. When he got into it.
Sometimes I hope that it's not just a folly, because I hope that all of this is not leading up to him just being like, yeah, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Because I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to improve the program and everything like that. But there's a lot of me that's like, it's still the same Deion that's been the same Deion for so many years and been all about himself. And
he's grown a lot, though. I don't think the neon Deion of when he was in his 20s. I mean, I think he's a much more mature guy.
When I look at a TV show for his team and all this other stuff, I just feel like it's more me than it is them. You know what I mean? Them. Yeah. And so maybe I'm looking at it a little differently. I don't know, but Yeah, sometimes I just think that, he's always been looking for that better job.
He's a self-promoter. There's no doubt about it. He is a self-promoter. He's also a Southwest Florida kid. Grew up in the Fort Myers area, and that's where David Moulton is based. So I wonder what kind of reaction there is to Deion down there. I wonder if they're following it all Jackson State because of Deion Sanders being the head coach there. David Moulton will join us when we come back. He works in the booth for Monday Night Football with Troy Aikman and the SEC on CBS with Gary Danielson. We'll get into a number of things with David Moulton next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
I said War Eagle.
CZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama.
We'll say that to each other.
97.7 ESPN, The
all the
Zone.
time, non-stop. On campus, at the store, and we'll be loud. War Eagle! War Eagle, War Eagle, War Eagle. War Eagle. War Eagle. War Eagle. Doesn't sound like a word anymore. War Eagle. Wait. Okay. Can we at least name the Auburn Tiger? Right, yeah, sure. What do you got?
The 59-year-old is suing the NFL, alleging the league singled him out for emails that contain racist, anti-gay, and misogynistic language.
War Eagle.
At the Little Rock Touchdown Club in Arkansas, Gruden said he's ashamed about what's come out in the emails. Will make no excuses for it. It's shameful. Added he's a good person, asks for forgiveness, and hopes he gets another shot. Rays ace Shane McClanahan, a late scratch from last night's scheduled start due to left shoulder impingement. He'll undergo further testing today. McClanahan and the team optimistic, don't think the issue's anything major. All eyes again on Serena Williams tonight at the U.S. Open for her second-round match in her final major before retiring. Coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV.
Listen to Madison Academy football all season long.
And it is covered up by the Mustangs in the end zone. Touchdown Madison Academy. Touchdown Madison Academy.
On 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The biggest games of Week 1 of college football, 23rd-ranked Cincinnati at 19th-ranked Arkansas. The Bearcats a 6-point favorite on the road. 11th-ranked Oregon battles number 3 and defending national champion Georgia in Atlanta. The Bulldogs 17-point favorites. And then Saturday night in prime time, number 2 Ohio State. Big favorites over 5th-ranked Notre Dame. Buckeyes minus 17.5. The NFL season kicks off a week from tomorrow with the Bills at the Rams. Buffalo the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl at plus 550. The Bucs at plus 750. Kansas City and Green Bay each at plus 1,000. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, a couple of passing clouds, but that's about it. We're definitely not going to be talking about any rain this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. It's also not going to be disgustingly humid, again, making for a beautiful Wednesday in North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to the play.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
Hump day. Woo-hoo! What day it is? It's hump day. Tony Colon there with a little hump day mix for us. Welcome back. Hour number 2. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Don't forget that the TOC After Hours Clinic now is open on Friday nights. We hope that nobody needs it. To be quite honest with you, they would love to just sit there with nobody in the TOC After Hours Clinic. But the reality is football, it's a rough game. It's a violent game, and you get dings, all right? So the Orthopedic Center is there to take care of you, and the Orthopedic Center, of course, taking care of so many of the high schools in the Tennessee Valley, along with Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs, and Huntsville Havoc, and many others. It's TOC Sports. Joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy that does a tremendous job this year moving over to the Monday Night Football booth with Troy Aikman, and also, of course, on the CBS, on the SEC on CBS with Gary Danielson. He is the one and only David Moulton. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
Tom, I'm good, but I'm wondering, did they get the big, high school controversy? Did they have your picture and your name together? Did you get a proper roster? Everything work out okay?
I'm getting everything that I need from the various schools. I'll be in Gadsden City Stadium on Friday night, and then they're rolling out the red carpet. They know who's coming, and they're going to make sure that there's an Ethernet line for me and all of the things that I need to make sure that the broadcast goes smoothly. But no, I am not wearing my credential, and I will not wear it with Chad's face on it. So.
I think you're playing this all wrong. I think you should blow it up and make T-shirts out of it.
That's a great idea. It's funny because there's my color commentator, a guy that he works with, says, hey, I didn't know that you were doing the games with Thom. I'm a big fan. You think you can get him to sign something for me? And I told the guy, I told John McGough, my color guy, I said, I got something to sign for him. I'm going to sign that credential with somebody else's picture on it and send him that. So, but we'll see. All right, listen, David, I got to get your opinion on something here. You
all right?
You may or may not know this, but I'm a big fan of Lee Corso. So much so, going all the way back to 1985, spring of 1985. I was 24 years old. I actually interviewed with Lee Corso for a job with the Orlando Renegades of the USFL. And then that was the year they were going to be moving to the fall in 1986, and then they ended up, the league disbanded, and it was the end of that. But I had a wonderful opportunity to interview with him. I've followed his career since. I'm a big Lee Corso fan. He's 87 years old now. He did game day last week from his backyard. He'll be in Columbus before the Notre Dame Ohio State game this week. And it's really sad. I mean, I don't know what do we do now. How do they make a clean exit here? Because if it doesn't get any better, it's almost disrespectful for Lee Corso in his career to have him stumbling through what he's trying to do. I mean, he's never been right since the stroke in 2009, but now it's gotten really bad.
Well, last week obviously was a very uncomfortable look for everyone, and I think if you're ESPN, you're hoping that maybe him not being part of the team environment and what have you, that somehow, some way, he was just, a bad day for an older guy. If that's not the case, then, he's a big part of the show. Yeah. And no one else, I don't think, is going to do the headgear, and that's a big part of the show. But if Saturday were to continue, I think you almost have to just do first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes.
I was almost wondering, can you record from his studio? They set him up with the little thing. Can you just record the headgear deal? Can he just make the pick on that week's game and just do a headgear pick on that week's game? Maybe I don't know.
He could just be the icing on the broadcast.
Yeah,
it's true. You could just bring him out for the last 10, 15 minutes, but that last 10, 15 minutes has been must-see TV. Don't laugh. Many times our getaway is noon. And there have been many times, whether it was Vern or Brad or Gary or myself or what have you, literally the car's waiting for us. And just for the heck of it, we're like, hold on a second. We go back into the hotel lounge and we look, and we wait just to see who Corso's picking.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fight on.
Okay. And then we go get in the car and go to the game.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is
must-see
TV. I'm afraid that it's becoming must-see TV
I'm
now.
not a businessman.
That people might be, that's like a train wreck. You want to see that. And I hate, maybe it's because I'm aging myself. I'm certainly not, he's 25 years older than me. But fix that at US. It's just, I just hate to see that. That's the only thing. And I don't know where they go down the road. I would like to see another coach in that, but who wants to be the guy that jumps in that seat? It's like following Nick Saban at Alabama or following, Bobby Bowden or whatever. Who's going to be the guy that jumps into that seat? You almost have to have a completely different shtick, if you will. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, would it be somebody like a Pat McAfee? Mm-hmm. Somebody who's got their own personality, and maybe they would put their own spin on that, or they would just do something else and call it themselves.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt the show will be different.
Yeah. I thought Spurrier was headed in that direction. I really did. I know he's in his 70s now, but he could do that for, 6-8 years. I thought that would be a great spot for Spurrier. Not to do goofy stuff, but just to be Steve Spurrier, with his little digs and everything else. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. This has got to be a rare weekend for you. You got nothing, right? This is Labor Day weekend.
Not true.
What do you got?
We're headed to San Diego. See, the first 2 weeks of the year, CBS contractually, this goes all the way back to when CBS had the U.S. Open. And so the deal that they made with the SEC was they didn't start showing the SEC till week 3.
Right.
And I think that when the contract got renewed, CBS still had the Open for like another year or so. So when the contract was long renewed, 10 or so years ago, that we don't have SEC football the first 2 weeks of the year unless basically ESPN has a conflict and they want to sell off a game.
So you're doing that Arizona-San Diego State game?
There you go, because CBS has the rights to the Mountain West, and they want to do college football the first 2 weeks. So we're doing Arizona-San Diego State, which is a brand-new stadium that they're opening this week, 35,000, the whole deal. And San Diego State's basically auditioning for the Pac-12. And they're probably going to go. And then I believe next weekend, we're not doing the game, but I believe week 2 is Colorado at Air Force. So it's two Mountain West games before we do Penn State Auburn.
I have a connection with that, with San Diego State out there. This is fun. This is the web, the tangled web that we weave, that our lives kind of work right through. I broadcast the last football game that was ever played at whatever they called it, Qualcomm, the Murph, the old stadium in San Diego, which is on the ground now. And until I started doing some games this year in Alabama, I hadn't. That was the last stadium I did a game at was there.
Is it the AAF?
It was the San Diego Fleet and the Birmingham Iron in the Alliance, and it turned out to be the last game ever played in that stadium because it was the next week when the Alliance, or it was actually 2 weeks later when the Alliance ceased operations. But yeah, that was in the stadium. So I was like joking around about the fact that the last stadium I did a game in before a couple of weeks ago is on the ground. It doesn't even exist anymore. But that new stadium out there is supposed to be beautiful.
Yep, 35,000 is what it holds. It's going to be sold out, and can't wait to see it. I mean, not every school, as we know, can have a 90,000-seat Palace. But, if you know who you are and you build it accordingly, I mean, a sellout's a sellout. It's still a good atmosphere.
I think we're headed in that direction. I mean, the stadium, UAB Stadium in Birmingham is 40,000 seats. We've seen a lot of seating removed from NASCAR, even though they still have strong ratings on TV. We've seen a lot of smaller track venues and so on. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. I think that's going to be the way of the future. There's the 90 to 100,000 seat college stadiums. You'll get the ones that exist now, but you're not going to see that anymore. I think a perfectly built for TV 40, 45,000 seats. I think that's what we're going to see. Look at all the baseball stadiums are smaller now.
Well, you increase demand. Yeah. You want to have 5,000 extra people wanting to get in as opposed to 5,000 empty seats. Also, college football's at a 40-year attendance low. So I think it makes sense. Let's face it, Tom. The TV, they're huge. The picture quality is great. It's convenient. It's so much cheaper. I mean, that's tough to compete with. It is live sports. I have thought, and it hasn't happened yet, and this may be something I just proved out to be completely wrong about, but I have always thought that the NFL was going to get to the point where every ticket's $99, and that includes parking and concessions except for beer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're going to have to do to get people to go to the games, because the sit-at-home experience is just too easy, too good.
Yeah, especially post-pandemic. I think even more people have been kind of trained to that deal. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough getting out of the stadium, and there's so many other games to watch. It's not like it's the only thing going on. You can watch one game after another, and then when you get done watching a late game, you're in a wreck 15 minutes later. I mean, I understand that. The only thing I will say this is that, especially with college, the atmosphere of a college game, the bands, the beforehand, the tailgating, you can't replicate that. No. That is still, and I'm kind of almost semi-committed. I went to the Alabama-Arkansas game last year as a fan with tickets. Bob Baumhauer gave me 4 tickets. I took 3 of my sons, and we went to that game, and we just kind of enjoyed the whole scene. You know what I mean? Denny chimes and the band playing with the drum line warming up at Denny chimes. You can't get that sitting at home, and I really encourage people to at least try and make it, once a year at least, especially to a college game. It's so different in the NFL. I don't even care if I go to an NFL game, even though I watch it. But that college atmosphere is so different.
Yes, and superior, as you pointed out. Also, there's a different emotional connection to it. And Sundays, for whatever reason, it's a very different crowd, and they drink a lot more.
You wonder if that'll change now that they're allowing beer sales at so many of these colleges. You wonder if some of that stuff will change.
I mean, it hasn't yet. And they've allowed beer sales at quite a few places for a while. And, there are some schools that have actually reported less alcohol incidents with beer sales than when people just bought unlimited amounts of liquor into the parking lot.
So outside of your game that you'll be working, what are you looking forward to most over this weekend? Is it that Notre Dame-Ohio State deal, which, by the way, 17.5 points? Is it the Oregon-Georgia? What is it?
It's how the SEC fares week one. The SEC has almost always avoided the bad non-conference weekend. Florida hasn't lost a home opener since 1989.
Yeah.
They're a 3-point dog to Utah. We find out whether or not Utah's for real, but we also find out, whether the whole, power of the SEC and even a down Florida team can still beat the best team in the Pac-12, blah, blah, blah. Cincinnati, Arkansas interests me a lot. If you're Arkansas, you're building. You don't lose to Cincinnati. You might have lost to last year's Cincinnati, but you're not supposed to lose to this year's Cincinnati. Can Georgia just take care of business? Remember, they're facing a guy who knows everything that they do. But they've got the experienced quarterback. They've got maybe the best offensive line in the sport. You know, they should take care of business. The SEC Week 1 interests me.
You say down Florida team. You're right there on top of them. How down is a down Florida team? Because I mean, they still got Anthony Richardson, the quarterback. Obviously, in the new coaching staff. I have them at 8-4 this season. But what is your definition of down for Florida? Because I agree. I think that game with Utah is that's. What does it tell you that Utah's toughest game of the season is against an SEC team, not against anybody in their own conference, including USC, I think. But, define down Florida team to me.
Well, they probably need about 30 more scholarship players, to be honest with you. Their roster's very thin. Richardson's all they have at quarterback. I mean, if they lose him, and he's probably going to run 10, 12 times a game, between Napier's offense and him just scrambling, that's 120 to 150 times this season he can get hurt. He gets hurt, they're going 4-8. And they're thin. And their September schedule's challenging. Utah, Kentucky, 2 weeks later at Tennessee. Then you get into October. You're going to have LSU and Georgia. I mean, the schedule's got real meat on it. And Florida State's a lot better this year. They may only win 7 to 8 games, but they're a lot better than they have been. A lot better. You heard Tebow's comments yesterday. They may have the best quarterback in the state of Florida. So Florida's schedule's hard. They go 8-4. Napier's had a hell of a year, to be honest with you. I mean, I talked to a Gators reporter this morning on my local show. He thinks they're 1-3 heading into October.
Yeah, see, I have them losing that game at Tennessee. I have them losing at Georgia and Texas A&M, and then I do have them losing against Florida State in Tallahassee. I think they get over on an LSU team. I'm not sold yet with LSU, regardless of whoever he thinks the quarterback is going to be. I think he beat Kentucky because they're at home against Kentucky there. Although Kentucky's going to be pretty sporty.
I think they lose.
I'm not sold
they lose this Saturday. But I do agree with you. They, I believe, have the biggest X factor in the SEC because Richardson. Ceiling is the second best quarterback in the conference. And that's this year. Never mind next year. So, and that's why, in theory, if Florida's playing a lot of one-score games, they do have potentially the weapon
including USC,
to steal all those games.
But now you mentioned Florida State. We were just talking about Deion Sanders, who was a Fort Myers native. And we were talking about him making an appeal there. They got water issues in Jackson, Mississippi. He's got to move the team. They don't have any ice. They don't have any air conditioning. They're going to try and find a place to practice. It's been going on for several days, and it's going to go on for several more days. But you look at Deion and you wonder whether or not, how – I know he brought in a big top recruit and all that kind of stuff, and he talks big about Jackson State. But ultimately – it can't be his goal to be at Jackson State for 10 years. And I would think that if he has another big season there, is dinging some people, wins 10 games, his name is going to start coming up as a legit D1 kind of guy, a power conference kind of guy. And obviously everybody looks at Florida State if, in fact, they don't get it going in the right direction. On that note, though, how is Deion covered in his hometown? Are there people, are they squeezing for him? Are they following Jackson State? Is it in the newspaper? What is the feeling about Deion? Do they view him as a clown? Do they view him as a serious head coach now?
They don't view him as a clown, but, Deion's relationship with his hometown has been distant for over 20 years. There was a fishing incident that happened in the 90s. He got arrested for it. He apparently was fishing at the airport, which is federal land, and it soured Deion on Southwest Florida. And I don't even know still to this day if Deion's been given the key to the city, to be honest with you. There's no Deion Sanders Boulevard or Way here. There's no athletic field named after him. Think about that. He's far and away the greatest athlete to come out of Lee County, Florida, which is saying something, by the way, because they do have Hall of Famers in other sports. But he is the best. And so it's you mentioned Deion Sanders, especially to people that are 50 or older in Southwest Florida, you're almost apt to get as many negative reactions as you do positive. I think it's preposterous. I would have given him the key to the city. I'd have an annual something for him. His mom, I believe, still lived here for the longest time. I think she may still live here. I think the city and the area has handled him poorly. But I do think, though, you're right. He's not going to do 15 years at Jackson State. And to me, it'll be interesting as to where's the next stop. Does he go straight to Power 5, or does he have to go Group of 5 first?
And I just wonder whether or not, if Florida State is a 4-8 team or 5-team, win team or something like that, if the wheels are coming off there, how loud does the drumbeat get to bring Deion back to Tallahassee?
Well, if it's that bad, then I think there's a real drumbeat. Mm-hmm. But I think it would have to be not going to a bowl this year for Norvell to lose his job. I think even at 6-6, 7-5, he keeps his job. They don't have a lot of money. They're digging themselves out from a handful of bad years financially. Mike Norvell's going to have to fail for them to get rid of him, in my opinion. But, let's just say we play the roulette game. The Auburn coach loses his job. Lane is mentioned for Auburn. If Lane were to go to Auburn, the Ole Miss job opens up. Do you consider Deion?
It's a great point. He's already building relationships there, obviously, in Mississippi.
In the state, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so enjoy your trip out of the country. I've got a daughter that lives in San Diego. Young Dominique, her and her husband live in San Diego. We visit every once in a while, and it is beautiful. The weather is beautiful. Torrey Pines, I love Torrey Pines. But, man, it does feel like you leave the country when you go there. It's like, damn, this is someplace else.
I'm going to be there 26 hours.
Okay.
I'm landing Friday night, and I'm on a Saturday red-eye home.
And this is Gary, right? I mean, they got the A team out there.
Yeah.
This is Brad and Gary doing the San Diego State game. Gee.
Yes. Well, we did a couple during the pandemic. We did some Mountain West. We had a SEC game got canceled on us, I think, on a Thursday during the pandemic, and we ended up Saturday out in Reno, I think, doing a San Diego State Nevada game. So we've done Mountain West before.
Yeah. All right.
Also, the debut of Jenny Dell on the A team. He replaces Jamie Erdahl.
That's right. All right. We appreciate you as always. Be safe. We'll talk next week, the day before a really nice opening night game between the Chargers and the Rams, which is going to be good on Thursday night. And, of course, your first Monday night game, which will be coming up that weekend as well. Be safe out there, man.
All right. Have a great holiday, everyone.
David Moulton. There you go. All right, we get a break. We go open lines the rest of the show. So if you want to jump in, this is a good time to do it. You got thoughts on anything that we've talked about so far, you can do that. It's all coming up right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold, medicine. Use as directed.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
2 maids and a mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. 2 maids and a mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at 2maidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. 2 maids and a mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, Southern and Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, a couple of passing clouds, but that's about it. We're definitely not going to be talking about any rain this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. It's also not going to be disgustingly humid, again, making for a beautiful Wednesday in North Alabama, Southern and Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. For all of your auto needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford. Look, their service department is second to none. It's the only choice when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, no matter what kind of vehicle it is. It's Woody Anderson Ford. And look, when you're down there, check out the Certified Gold Pre-Owned vehicles as well. They are tremendous, and you know that you can have a custom made Ford for you. You can have a custom order for your vehicles, and you can get that done without any additional cost at all, and it'll be delivered right there to Woody Anderson Ford. So get that done now. Woody Anderson of Madison as well. All right, phone lines are open now if you want to get in. 256-576-4977, 256-576-4977. That will get you in. Brandon says that the worst ticket you can get your hands on to the Alabama A&M game is $400. That's why people stay home. 400 bones. Well, yeah, you know, I guess if you're season ticket holder ahead of time, or you know somebody that's got tickets, or
it's still a little much to go to a game. I mean, just to travel.
Little?
I mean,
oh, you mean without the $400? You mean just to go, like if you had a face value?
Yeah. Like just like if I was going like by myself, like it's still kind of a trip for me to go. I mean, I'm gonna spend a good bit of money. It's like me every year saying that, you know, I'm gonna go to Atlanta or go, you know, to a pro game where it's like, yeah, it's cool that you made concessions and everything cheaper, but the price of the ticket is still the same. It's, you know, I mean, I went to the Hawks game and it was the Nets, but I went to a Hawks game and nosebleeds, you know, were you know, no more, you know, no less than $80, $100. So I mean, it's
I couldn't do it. I can't.
It's a little much.
And I hate this. I hate to sound snobbish because I've been to so many games over the years with that thing hanging around my neck, and I really enjoyed the few games that I've been able to go to with my sons. All right, I really have, or with my wife. I've been to some baseball games and things like that with my wife. I've enjoyed that. But having said it, I just can't get my arms around what the cost is for what you're getting. And maybe it's because I've been to games. I don't know. My sons are dying to go to a Cleveland Browns regular season game in Cleveland. There is not one game, and I know some people in Cleveland, but I haven't really leaned on anybody to ask about tickets. But there is not one game where you can get a ticket for less than $150, $140. I said to them, and I thought that, you know, my birthday is September 11th, opening day of the NFL season, opening Sunday in the NFL season. And I said to them, and I like that, I'd rather do something for somebody else than, you know, get a gift. I'd rather give a gift. So I said to my sons, what do you think about going to Atlanta to see the Browns-Falcons game, which is later on in the month, if I can get some tickets? And they're like, man, we would love that. It's okay, fine. So I just went to the website. So, you know, I'll just buy some tickets. I make decent money, and I'll just buy some tickets to the game. They're like $135 to be in the upper tank. They're like $135.
I'm going to tell you right now, you can get, on Ticketmaster, you can get some nosebleeds for $48 a piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Browns and Falcons.
Yeah.
$48.
Yeah. Section 348, row 19, $48 a piece.
How far up is that?
Yeah, that's pretty far.
Is that like in Alpharetta or something?
Yeah. Now, they have availability all the other places now. I haven't seen what...
I don't know what scalpers look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what it would be looking like if you walked around with $500 in your hand, but I mean, I got 4 sons. That would be 5. I mean, I think maybe that was part of the getting 5 together. I mean, it was $500, $600, $700. And people say, well, what if your team made it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or would you buy tickets?
World Series, I didn't go $800 to stand around and watch the Braves.
You'd be kidding me. I've been to 1 World Series. I went to 3 World Series games when the Yankees played the Dodgers in 1978 in the World Series. My dad took me to 3 World Series games in New York, but he had tickets from Joe Altobelli, who he was friends with. Joe Altobelli, Joe Altobelli that year was the National League Manager of the Year. And Joe Altobelli and Johnny Antonelli are both from New York, or from Rochester, and they were friends with my dad. And they hooked them up with 2 tickets to each of the 3 World Series games. That's the only time I've been to a World Series game because I haven't covered it. But a national championship game, $1,000, $1,800, whatever it is, face value for a Super Bowl, a couple of grand.
Yeah.
For to sit in the stands for 3 hours to watch a football game?
I mean, just to sit on the court side of an NBA basketball game will run you thousands of dollars, and it's just I'll spend the $80 and sit up top. Yeah, but I'll sit up top for $80.
Or sit now. I have sat floor level for NCAA tournament games.
Yeah.
Plenty of them. Working, though.
Right.
And that was fine. That was cool. You know, when the regionals were in Nashville one year, I was working for CBS Sports that year, and I had courtside seat right behind the Michigan bench. And it was cool to see, but I would have never gone out of pocket. I mean, I was
Just
paid
to
to do it. I wouldn't go the other way. And again, it sounds awful to say that. I love sports. I watch sports all the time. But, you know, how long have we had HD TV now?
Over a decade.
Been at least a decade, right?
Yeah.
I got the 60 in the family room and the 50 in the bedroom.
2009, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what am I doing? I mean, why would I? But, you know, my Barca Lounger is so comfortable. I watch baseball every night in bed until, you know, my wife wants to watch a show, and then we watch a show, and then I go back after I delay it on the DVR. I mean, look at the technology. And then when she falls asleep at 9:30, I watch baseball, or I watch old football games and you know, stuff that I'm interested in on the YouTube. It just doesn't – it's just really hard. Now, when we went last year, Grizz, it was you and me and two of my sons.
Correct.
I think I mistakenly said three of my sons, but that's how I think of you.
Appreciate that.
When we went to the Alabama-Arkansas game, now we were sitting up there pretty far, but it wasn't bad.
No.
They were good seats.
No, they were, yeah.
It was fine. We were in the end zone corner type thing, but we were up high, so it was like – it was fine. But to me – the better part of that whole experience was before the game, was going down to Denny Chimes and watching the drumline warm up, and was just hanging out, you know, beforehand and walking around and, you know, taking in that whole experience.
And even before what it kind of turned into now, where you really do have to buy a spot and you have to get there, you know, weeks in advance, or you have to how they have it set up now is completely different than when I was a kid, where how they had, you know, the area around Denny Chimes kind of set up.
The quad?
And then, the quad, and having everything else set up around for the band. It was a little bit different, and I think it was that was the cool part, was being a kid and being able to run around and throw the football, kind of like what you see now. You know how they had areas where they had it carted off, or they had it.
But you're right. Even the quad now is sectioned. You know,
it was
into
sectioned
different
off,
things.
and before I could run around and nobody would care. You could just do whatever you want. I mean, it was fair game. That's what was really cool about the whole pregame festivities. And I guess a little bit now it's more structured.
The Crimson Tide radio network stage used to be on the quad. Okay, because that's where I did the Game Day Tailgate show from 2004 to 2009, I guess, something like that. We did the Game Day Tailgate show on about 14 or 15 radio stations from the stage of the Crimson Tide radio network. And it was right there on the quad. We would just pull up. 4 or 5 hours before the game. We'd pull up with the truck, park the truck right there on the grass, get out. You know, the gear and everything we used, obviously we used the stage gear and everything, so they just would hand us Tom Stipe would just hand us the headsets, and we'd be ready to go. And we'd do the show. Me and Dan Schwartzman. It was me and Schwartz. I think I might have done a few of those with Matt Peralt, but it was mostly me and Dan Schwartzman. We'd just roll up and do it. And there would be kids running around everywhere on the quad and playing and everything else.
Yeah.
And you could park. Basically, people pulled up and parked. They lined the quad with tents, with their own pop-up tents and stuff. You're right. It was totally different.
They used to have a row, because I remember, I think it was on on the west side. It might have been on the west side of the quad, where they literally had a row of food trucks, and they had a barbecue place. I don't think it was Dreamland, but I remember it being a whole section of barbecue trucks and just little food truck areas where you could actually get food right there too. And then you walked onto the quad, and then that's everybody was throwing football and everything like that. So
yeah,
it has changed a little bit.
Did you see what Baker Mayfield had to say about opening up with the Browns? It was. I feel different about it now. If you missed it, he said, according to NFL media, he said when asked about opening with the Browns, he said, "I'm going to F them up." That's what he said. And then Myles Garrett was asked about it, and he said, "Yeah, okay, we'll use that."
Do what?
As it turned out, it was completely it wasn't on a show and wasn't public. It was a private conversation. That's who Baker Mayfield is. Baker Mayfield privately is totally different than the Baker Mayfield you see publicly. Well, I say totally, maybe not. Baker Mayfield is the same guy that planted the flag, and tried to plant the flag at Ohio State.
And grabbed that region, grabbed his,
Yeah.
told someone to,
He's the crotch-grabbing maker. He's the same guy he was in college. Now, when he's your quarterback, you love that because he's cocky and he's, but you got to be able to back it up. He backed it up in college. He won a Heisman Trophy. He sometimes backed it up with Cleveland. Look, he took the Browns to a playoff. They haven't been a playoff game, won a playoff game in 20-something years. And he goes and he wins a playoff for him. But you can make the case that Baker Mayfield became the weakest link on that offense. That it was like, he'd make some plays, but for the most part, he was the weakest link there. So anyway, he was on the Around the NFL podcast with Cynthia Freeland from NFL Network, and she was talking to him off the air. And she said, I walked up to him, and I'm like, go kick some butt, especially week one. Well, first of all, I don't know that if you're a media member for the NFL Network, I don't know that you should be – that's fangirling a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? For her to be saying to him, go kick some butt, especially week one. Well, who the hell are you?
You can take it for what you want, but yeah.
No, why the hell is she telling him to go kick some butt? Does she say the same thing to go to Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney to say, hey, go kick some butt?
Just say good luck.
Especially week one. Are they saying to him, knock him out of the game or I hope you sack him 5 times or anything like that? So anyway, she says that I walked up to him and I'm like, go kick some butt, especially week one, which is highly unprofessional. And then she says he used some expletives. I was like, I just hope you're ready. And he's like, I'm going to bleep them up. All right, so first of all, why did it come out? Who's if an athlete did say that to you privately, why is that coming out? If John Samuel Schenker said to me, privately, man, we're going to bust Alabama this year. I'm not going to come out and say John Samuel Schenker told me that they're going to bust Alabama. You don't out the guy that way.
When I first saw it, though, I kind of thought it was like one of those things I've seen multiple times on social media where it shows a coach or somebody saying that they're going to beat Alabama or they're going to whoop the crap out of somebody or they're going to do something. And I always think that, like, some people think it's real, but it's not. It's someone who made a meme out of, all they had to do was take a picture of them playing and then make their own special font with it, and then people will run with it. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but that has happened multiple times.
This headline for 2 days has been everywhere.
Yeah.
On everywhere. CBSSports.com, ESPN.com, everywhere. It's everywhere. And all it is Mayfield on Browns. I'm going to bleep them up.
Well, it's like...
It was a private comment that he said to this woman afterwards. And Myles Garrett said, look, he says, we know that he's got that type of demeanor and attitude. For better or worse, it works for him. This is what Myles Garrett said. He said, I'm not mad at him for using that fire and that chip on his shoulder to help him play to the level he has. He's been successful in what he's done. We'll take it, and we'll use it. And I'm hoping for a great matchup. I don't think any less of him because he's going out there and doing the same thing he did when he was with us. He's the same guy personally, and we'll see a different Baker, and maybe we'll see a different Baker when he gets on the field. Who knows?
And it's crazy because the same articles, like for instance, I get it's Deadspin, take it for what you want. It's the same article that came out with the Manny Te'o situation. One of the articles says Baker can't stop being Baker Mayfield. This was released like 3 hours ago, and it's just like, really? It's like, I get it's Baker Mayfield, but it's not Johnny Manziel. You know what I mean? It's not somebody that is
he's got some chops.
Yeah, somebody that actually is in the league and is got another opportunity, and we don't even know what's going to happen then. We just got to see. So it's just crazy that people just jump to conclusions of how a quarterback carries himself, how he dresses, all that other stuff. Now, Cam Newton's a different story. Cam Newton went crazy, and he can dress up all he wants, but Cam Newton can make that look good. I can't. But it's just like, I don't understand why people will jump to conclusions on a quarterback or a person just based on, I get it.
if he's your guy, you loved it.
Well, yeah, but it's like we're all kind of like we're all a little different when we go home, right? Like we're not the same like on camera or on TV than we are at home. I mean, we're all different.
Well,
we're all we like to hang back and we like to be loose.
And Chuck Oliver said yesterday or the day before on his show, or recently on his show, he was talking about how he enjoys football when he watches a game and sits at home and watches a game. Yeah. And he said, I got to be honest with you. He says, when I'm watching college football, I watch with my Auburn glasses on. Boom. And I respect him for that.
Now, is that when he's at home?
Yeah, that's what he says. When I'm at home, I watch a game with my Auburn glasses on because he's an Auburn fan. I respect him for that. This is a guy that's working in Atlanta. He knows that the SEC is a Crimson Tide world, but he is an Auburn fan. So he says, you really don't get that much out of Chuck's show. When you listen to Chuck Oliver, you really wouldn't, unless you knew that he was an Auburn fan, right? You wouldn't know that he's an Auburn fan.
That he went to Auburn.
And so he says, I watch with my Auburn glasses. But I appreciate him saying that because I was told, when I got started in this business, that you can't, you're not a fan of anybody anymore. That, you were a fan when you're 12 years old, but, I'm not a fan of any teams. And I was like, so I tried that for a little while. And I was like, that's not authentic. That's not who I am. So I told my listen, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Browns fan. I'm a Bruins fan. I love the Predators. I'm a Knicks fan, for God's sakes. And I love the Crimson Tide. I tried to deny that for a while. People, they got it. I took the job in Alabama.
You and Paul Feinbaum.
Paul's a Tennessee.
I know.
I took the job in Alabama because they promised me that I would be the lead host of the game day tailgate show on campus with the Crimson Tide, and we would travel everywhere they went. That was the deciding factor. When I was in Southwest Florida, I had turned down the job the first time. I was going to be the voice of the Tennessee Valley Vipers as well. The money was parallel. It was parallel. And it was like I would be going from afternoon drive to morning drive, and I turned the job down. 6 months later, they said, we'll give you a few more bucks, but you'll be the host of the game day tailgate show on campus every game in Tuscaloosa on the Crimson Tide Radio Network. Done. I told my wife we're going to Alabama. Done. I had been up here to do a Florida Firecats Tennessee Valley Viper game, and I had driven up through Dothan and came right up through Birmingham, and I remember telling my wife then, I said, this place is spectacular. This is beautiful. I told her, I said, we're going to live here someday. I said, I don't know how it's going to happen. I said, we're going to live here someday. This is just amazing. So, it is what it is. All right, by the way, have you seen the picture? Look at my feed. I think you see the picture of Myles Garrett that I posted.
I saw. Yeah.
With his reaction.
Yeah.
God, he's a beast.
Now, I will say this, what you just said earlier, though, when you're talking about, being a fan and having a job like this where, you're
not
trying,
supposed to.
You're not you're not saying we and all that other stuff.
Oh,
but
no,
I've heard it multiple times on other stations where it's just like, you can't say we. It's like no. I'm turning into you. You know what I mean? Where
you don't ever say we, and that,
where it's like I ridicule other people that say we.
If you're
even on national ESPN.
If you're on the team or you used to play, the only one like on our station, the only one that could say we about the Crimson Tide is Wes, because he is we. That's him. He was on the team. He can say we. None of the rest of us can say we. None of them. None of us. I could say we if I was talking about the St. John Fisher Cardinals, okay? I could say we. We. Because that's my alma mater. That's the only time you could say we. Unless you play professional sports, I don't want to hear we about the Braves or the Yankees or anybody else or your football team. We. And the only one that was able to get away with it as a broadcaster was Larry Munson. Just whatever reason, man, it worked for Larry Munson. All right, we will be back to wrap this show up next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
It's been said that there are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a 4th certainty, the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus up to 200%. Cash in on all your favorite sports with BetUS.com. When you go to BetUS.com to set up your account, use the promo code WZZN. That's the promo code WZZN at BetUS.com to take advantage of their service. We'll have our first Beat the Big Dog tomorrow, Grizz. Are you boning up for this? Because you're like the advisor for the listeners, for whoever's going to play Beat the Big Dog.
I did pretty good last year.
Yeah, you didn't do bad last year. So, but we'll have to, we'll come up with 6 good college football games. I'm resisting Alabama, Utah State, and certainly Mercer, v. Auburn. I'm resisting those games. I think I can come up with 6 games.
You got West Virginia, Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Maybe not.
No, not that game.
Maybe probably.
That's too early. That's too early of a game.
Well, what do you mean early?
That's just because it's that night, I guess. Because you'd have to.
Oh, you mean Thursday night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put a Thursday night game in there.
If I put a Thursday night game in there, it would be Penn State Purdue.
Yeah,
that's Thursday night. That's a good Thursday night game. Penn State Purdue. I'm thinking about putting the A&M UAB game in there.
All right, I like it.
That's also Thursday night.
A&M
UAB will be on the CBS Sports Network Thursday night from Protective Stadium. UAB will make it, but I don't know what the line is in the game. I haven't been able to find a line right now. It wasn't listed. None of the Friday night games will make it in. I can guarantee you that Georgia, Oregon, and Florida, Utah, and the Notre Dame, Ohio State game, those games will all be in there. Those will all be in there. Probably Clemson and Georgia Tech, too, for our buddy Thom Luganville. All right, that's going to do it for us. Coming up next, the Chuck Oliver Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum, The Drive, Braves Baseball. It's all right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. For the first time since he resigned as Raiders coach last October, John Gruden publicly addressed the email controversy that cost him his job. The 59-year-old is suing the NFL, alleging the league singled him out for emails that contained racist, anti-gay, and misogynistic language. At the Little Rock Touchdown Club in Arkansas, Gruden said he's ashamed about what's come out in the emails. We'll make no excuses for it. It's shameful, added he's a good person, asks for forgiveness, and hopes he gets another shot. Rays ace Shane McClanahan, a late scratch from last night's scheduled start due to left shoulder impingement. He'll undergo further testing today. McClanahan and the team optimistic, don't think the issue's anything major. All eyes again on Serena Williams tonight at the U.S. Open for her second-round match in her final major before retiring. Coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV.